Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel, where we bring you critical and in-depth reviews of just about every indie game we can get our hands on, and today we're going to be taking a look at Kawaii Deathu Desu for the Nintendo Switch. And I just want to start off by saying it has been a while since I've played a game that, I wanted to play. Now don't get me wrong, I love nearly every one of the games I've ever played for this channel, but this one wasn't particularly on a super deep sale. It's not really brand new, but it's one that I've been curious about for a long time. And so I'm actually happy that I finally got to play it. Diving into the story though, even if you didn't expect this game to have one, there is a bit of a story, though it has absolutely nothing at all to do with any of the gameplay, so here goes. Basically, there are a lot of cutesy demons in hell, and they're all trying to figure out who's gonna basically be the boss. And so they've established a contest to see who can collect the most souls and become the next overlord. Or it's something kind of like that, but again, it has absolutely nothing to do with the gameplay, so really, don't worry. Mechanically though, Kawaii Deathu Desu is super simple. That is everything other than the menus. Because for some reason, B is select and A is cancel, and as simple as a change as that might be from any regular Nintendo gaming format, if you are a tried and true Nintendo gamer, that might just shatter your brain. Thankfully though, other than navigating through the menus, the actual physical gameplay mechanics are incredibly simple and actually only use two buttons. When you manage to find your way into a level, whether that's on normal mode, hard mode, or the insane difficulty, all you'll really have to do, kinda like One Punch, is fend off characters from the left or right sides of the screen. And this is pretty much the only thing that the game's story has any impact on. All of the characters that you'll play as and unlock throughout the course of your play through Kawaii Deathu Desu are demons from the pit of hell. And so in order to collect as many souls as possible, they've all kind of transformed into cutesy Japanese pop stars. And as it turns out, the best way for them to collect as many souls as possible is to utterly destroy their ravaging fans. And so as you play through level after level, stage after stage, and constantly up your difficulty to try and collect more souls, you'll probably want to put on some wrist braces, because paddling back and forth between the left and right buttons on your Joy-Cons will either snap the springs under the buttons or snap the tendons in your wrists. Because these waves of fans come on so flippin' fast. And not only that, each of the fans may have variations in their health bar, taking more than one or several attacks. And the later you get into the game, some of your rampaging fans might actually have special abilities of their own. They may dodge, block, or zip behind you and cause you to really contemplate which direction you should be attacking, all the while you're collecting thousands of souls from the utter rampage of your undying fans. If you look toward the bottom of the screen though, there are several different gauges to keep track of, even though most of the action of the game is pretty much automated. Directly under your character, you'll have your own HP bar, as well as a bit of a soul gauge that fills up with the more characters you kill. And once this flashing blue soul gauge is filled all the way up, you'll have access to your own special ability. Playing as Death herself, you get access to the giant Grim Scythe that'll pretty much terminate any characters on screen. But every single unlockable character in Kawaii Deathu Desu has their own unique special abilities, such as the Lamia's ability to spit acid poison across the screen, or maybe the zombie's ability to call up the undead to both slow down and kill your fans in massive droves. Not only that, if you can stumble your way through the game's menus, there's other things you can do with your souls besides just unlocking characters. One of which is leveling them up and increasing their stats, such as their kick, which moves them forward just a little bit during their attack power, their HP, or even their defense. Other than that though, each of the kawaii characters in the game is just a little bit customizable, being able to unlock several different outfits for each. And so while you may be able to get up to 28 or 3,000 souls per run in the hardest difficulties of the game, having to spend several thousand souls for a single outfit, or up to 20 or 30,000 souls to unlock a character or level them up, well, as you can imagine, if you are a completionist gamer, you will be sponging up the souls for quite a while. Though if you were just to try to play to the end of the game with a single character, you might be able to beat it in about 2 hours. This is though, of course, foregoing all of the unlockables, all the leveling up, and of course all of the trophies for the game. But moving on from the general mechanics and looking at Kawaii Deathu Desu as a visual presentation, the pixel work is absolutely phenomenal, not just for the characters, but for their fast and quick animations in combat, as well as each one of the unique backdrops for every one of the game's levels. And in all honesty, it's the clean, crisp pixel work that really kept me actually playing Kawaii Deathu Desu for as long as I did. Every time you get to a new level as well, you unlock a new aspect of the game's soundtrack that you can play through in the game's main menu. And I'm happy to say that though the visuals are definitely one of the best aspects of the game, the soundtrack isn't that bad either. But with all this praise, there are a few things that a gamer might want to note before diving into Kawaii Deathu Desu. First and foremost, as far as critiques go, would have to be the game's difficulty level. In Kawaii Deathu Desu, it is an incredibly simple game, thankfully, because the difficulty curve spikes really fast. And because the mechanics pretty much just involve mashing the L or R buttons, there's not much more you can do to compensate for that difficulty curve other than hitting the buttons faster and faster and faster the further you make it into the game. Leveling up your character does help because increased damage kills your opponents faster, but that's really about all you can do. So as far as anyone out there who sees themselves as kind of a challenge gamer, there's not really a challenge of mastering the characters and the combat as much as the challenge of just keeping up with the constant onslaught of enemies. The next bit would be that Kawaii Deathu Desu acts kind of a little bit like a roguelike. You're kind of expected to go into each match or concert challenge to die over and over and over until you get enough souls to either upgrade or unlock a new character. And this will of course let you get a little bit further to do that some more, to get a little bit further, to die some more, to maybe unlock a new character, to inch just that much further to your final concert in the game. And so again, if you're not terribly interested in that particular aspect of a semi-roguelite game, then you might actually see Kawaii Deathu Desu lose its shine fairly quickly. And probably the last consideration would be the nearly RPG level of grinding it would take if you did want to invest and try and unlock and upgrade later characters. Like I said, the most amount of souls you can probably get from doing a complete damage-free run for very late game levels is probably about 2,400, maybe 2,800 souls at a time. Which means to unlock the most expensive character is going to take you 10 to 12 runs, and then to level them all the way to their max, probably another 30 or 40 runs at the hardest difficulty setting on some of the hardest levels in the game. And God forbid you actually wanted to outfit them with new outfits, because there's another 12 or 14 runs. And so taking a step back and looking at Kawaii Deathu Desu as a full package, as a total experience, I would be lying my rear end off if I didn't say that I enjoyed the game. Because I did, even though it's grindy and even though it's pretty much based around a system of die so you can get a little further, it was adorable and fun, and even though the combat wasn't terribly challenging, the animations were so smooth and so crisp. Even with a really minimal difficulty level as far as the actual combat action's concerned, it was pretty satisfying. Now, if I eventually develop carpal tunnels because of this game, that's a different story, but as a final closing note, if you were looking at Kawaii Deathu Desu, or if you were looking for a kind of cutesy pixelated action game to just play in some breaks during the day or maybe on your commute to work, it really is a fun, frantic game with really high quality pixel work and combat that just happens to be hiding behind a really simplistic button scheme. But anyway, that does about wrap up the review of Kawaii Deathu Desu now on the Nintendo Switch, so if you enjoyed the review, or especially if you found it helpful, feel free to throw us a like or a comment to show your support, and don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. Because as you can see, there are new and unique indies coming out literally every single day, so whether it's an easy hard pass, or for you personally it's an unforgettable gem, chances are if it's on the Nintendo Switch, you're gonna find out about it right here. But anyway, this has been The Budget Gamer, so as always, thanks for watching.